Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Black Clover. Last time around we had Go First Mission, where basically Magna and Captain Yami, went on a very important mission, which was gambling and losing all of their stuff. And because they lost, the mayor that they lost to of Sussy Village tasked them with getting rid of some wild boars. So naturally, Captain Yami just sort of passed it off to Asta and Noelle. So Magna, Asta, and Noelle rode out to Sussy Village. However, the wild boars have already been dealt with because there are villains that are looking for a thing. I don't remember what it was. They said it at the end. I forgot what it was, but I'm sure the episode will remind me. So there's villains, and now there's actual conflict going on. So isn't that interesting? But yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Black Clover. Here we go. She is the people's princess. She is the true ruler of this realm, or the many realms. There's a lot. There are multiple realms. Okay, so racism, or at least class warfare, I guess. Classism, I suppose. Magic prejudice, basically. It's not really race, but I mean it's prejudice. It's all under the umbrella of prejudice. So, okay, I guess I should have known that I should have suspected that actually. You know what? I had not thought of that. 9 episodes in, it was a couple episodes back we were talking about, I was making predictions and stuff, maybe some of the magical knights suck, and some of them do, technically. But some of, and I was like, I bet there's something about either the current Wizard King or the original Wizard King, And so I was making all these predictions based on, what would I do as a writer, just shonen plot twists, that I just did not think about that. I did not think of magic prejudice. Okay, I swear we're not going to do this the entire show, but I do want to make 2 comparisons to My Hero Academia and why this show is better. Number 1, there's the prejudice, because My Hero Academia also had prejudice. There's a sort of back and forth in My Hero. The main thing for a while was just the prejudice against people with non-quirks, which really only applied to Deku and only for 2 episodes or so, because then he gets one for all. That's not even really a spoiler if you haven't seen My Hero Academia. He gets a power, So there's that. So there's that comparison that you can have, which mirrors Asta not having magic. I'm glad, though, that this show just immediately, episode 9, that's still pretty fast, by episode 9, brings in, expands on that, and is like, hey, here's prejudice against people who barely have any magic, Asta has no magic. These people in Sussy Village, I know it's Sousy Village or whatever. I'm just going to keep calling it Sussy. These people in Sussy Village barely have magic, It definitely seems like Seihi, the old man, he definitely, stood out in the town. He was pretty dang strong. But even he did not make it into the magic knights. I keep wanting to call them the magical knights, not just the magic knights. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. So that's the thing. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's he is super powerful, was able to overcome Magna many times, whoop his ass, but even he could not enter the magic knights. So now we have these douchebags coming in and being like, oh, they're just wild beasts. They barely have enough magic to survive. And it's just motherfucker, them's are fighting words, And fight we are. Fight we are now doing. Fighting we are. So that's interesting, and that I'm glad again that it's brought up so early, because in My Hero Academia they do introduce quirk prejudices, and like prejudices specifically against like people whose quirks change their appearance. They don't look like just a normal human. The quirk like makes them look different. There are people that some people look like dogs. Some people, one of the main characters, Tokoyami, has a bird head. And so they introduce this like pretty much like racism against people with those kinds of quirks. That prejudice basically. But they introduce it like 100 episodes in, where at that point it's too late, Like, you did not firmly establish this in your world until, like, way too long after it has been relevant, Like, that took too friggin' long, And because of that, it felt really shoehorned in just to, kind of make that season, which was season 6, just make it more and more dark, Like, because that was the dark, edgy season of My Hero Academia, which is why I dropped that show, because I friggin' hated that season. So I'm glad they're introducing this here as, world building. You can't just add in a core function of how your world, functions, works, 100 episodes in. At that point, it's too late, Especially when it could have been relevant 100 episodes prior, So here, it's like, okay, this is a foundation of the world of Black Clover, There are the different realms, and the higher realms have higher magical capabilities. And it's like, okay, that's how that works. And some people, like this dude, are douchebags who say, I'm so much better, and I don't even care. I'm just going to look at my watch, and I'll just kill you. I'll kill you in 5 minutes. Like, I hate those kinds of people. Especially in anime, I hate those kinds of people. But that's also the point, But see, it's a give and take, because like with this guy, was he Heath? Is that what they called him? Heath? Heath Ledger? No, Heath Ledger was fine, but this is not a good Heath. What was I saying? I hate that kind of character, but it's sort of a half and half, because on the one hand, obviously I'm supposed to hate this character. They make it easy for you to hate this kind of character. Just the I don't even care about you. You are nothing to me. And then obviously, because they're doing this to the main character, they're going to get their anus kicked, And so now we're just waiting for that moment. I will say, though, like, while on the one hand, it does exactly what it needs to do in setting up a villain, I will say it's one of the laziest forms of writing a villain, I think. And I think that really is just it, because it's like, so what is this guy's character? It's the most stereotypical I'm better than you villain, And you can do that. You can have an I'm better than you villain. Obviously, pretty much every villain thinks that anyway, But it is the difference between the villain that says I'm better than you and the villain that says I'm better than you, but if I let my guard down, the villains, like, I like the villains that will acknowledge it. Or if they're going to be I don't acknowledge you and I'm, you are beneath me, you gotta make it fun, Like Frieza, like Dio, like, you have to make them fun as hell, But, like, this guy, and, like, most of the villains in Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm just gonna put that out there, they were so terrible, Now, this guy's okay, because obviously he's just a minor villain to establish conflict, So that's just the thing. It's like, I hate that kind of villain. It doesn't actually bug me in this show. Like, it's doing its purpose. But it did bug me in Jujutsu Kaisen. So I hope that I can stop with the comparisons to other shonen anime. However, what I have just realized is I said there were 2 comparisons I wanted to make to My Hero, and I actually only covered one. But the second one we'll just go ahead and cover right now, just really quickly. Noelle, she's great. I really like her as a character. I just immediately, from the last 2 episodes and this one, it's just like, I am way in on her character. I really like her, and she's really interesting. I'm glad, hey, she's already overcoming her problems, you know? She's already overcoming one of her problems, and she's created this barrier. Now, that strikes into my mind that, hey, maybe she does something alternative. Maybe she's not just attacks, you know, or her attacks, basically. Maybe it's not just a straight-on, like, hey, just a attack on someone. Maybe all of her attacks are going to be clever, you know? Like, that could be really interesting. I don't know, but we'll see. What I like, though, immediate character development. I mean, we said that in her first episode, you know? But here, it's like, well, let's just get to it. Like, she's already leveling up, you know? We've only had her for 3 episodes total, and she's already leveling up. And I really hope, this is the comparison to My Hero Academia, I hope this sticks, and I hope that she stays a relevant, interesting, strong character. Because Uraraka wasn't. And even though I like the first 4 seasons of My Hero, I really enjoy. Season 5 is good, and season 6 was dog shit. But the first 4 seasons I really like. I will admit, even in those first 4 seasons, pretty much after the sports festival, Uraraka's character is not relevant to the rest of the story and never is again, pretty much. And that's a real shame, because in the sports festival, she was amazing, you know? So I'm hoping that Black Clover fixes that mistake, and Noelle is a relevant, strong character throughout this show, you know? I really hope. So, I don't know. We've got a lot of episodes to go, though. So I hope, I mean, if she can at least outlast how long Uraraka was relevant, that would be great, you know? So those are my comparisons to My Hero. Again, I'm hoping that I don't keep doing this, you know, but it's just so nice, you know? Because this is what I wanted when you guys told me to watch Black Clover, and you guys told me about it. This is honestly what I wanted. The bonus is having it be fantasy. I gotta be honest, I think I'm going through my fantasy phase, you know? I think I'm genuinely going through my fantasy phase now. Which is weird. Yeah, I guess, you know, a lot of people will go through a fantasy phase. A lot of people, you know, it's like Lord of the Rings and stuff. For me, I didn't grow up on Lord of the Rings. I grew up on The Legend of Zelda. And so that was my fantasy thing. But for the longest time, it really was just my fantasy thing. You know, like I didn't really have anyone to share Zelda with. But now I keep watching these dang fantasy animes, you know? It's like, I'm watching this. I'm watching Frieren. What's another? I mean, there's a couple. I'm watching Spice and Wolf in my free time. Inuyasha, I would say, is probably also part of this fantasy. It's just, you know, medieval Japan fantasy, you know? And then, what would be another? A couple seasons back, a couple anime seasons back, there was an Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride. If there are any Archdemon's Dilemma fans out there, I watched that. I freaking love that show. Like that, I really enjoyed that. But that's also medieval fantasy. So I'm just like I'm in on this medieval fantasy. And this, I think, at least like the world qualifies it as medieval fantasy, and obviously the magic and stuff. The rest of the show barely, I think, qualifies, but I like it. I'm definitely in my fantasy phase now. Like, and I'm so down for it. And especially just having great shows like this, especially Frieren. Frieren has really pushed me with this whole fantasy thing, and it's just, Oh, it's so great. And then, you know, like watching Vinland Saga, which wasn't fantasy, it was just Middle Ages, but, it's all coming together in my head. It's all coming together, and I'm going through a fantasy phase right now. Ironically enough, since I'm wearing this Game of Thrones shirt, Game of Thrones never put me in that fantasy phase. Probably because you would never want to be in Westeros, you know? And I mean, even this year we watched House of the Dragon, I was just like, eh. But you would never want to be in Westeros. Like, I want to be in this world, I want to be in Freeren world. Maybe not Spice and Wolf, because there's no real magic. It's just sort of medieval and also Wolf Girl, you know? But still. So yeah, it's just, I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you're enjoying this too, and I hope that I won't keep making My Hero Academia comparisons, but we'll see. We'll see. If the villain shows up in, like, a black suit, basically, then, I don't know. Depends. I don't know what a big bad in this show would even be, you know? So, but good stuff. I mean, we didn't even talk about, like, Magna's backstory even, you know? So, I hope this was a decent enough discussion. But, I mean, Magna's backstory was really good. I like that it's like, yeah, he was a delinquent, but he got his ass beat, you know? Quite literally, actually. You know, he literally got his ass beat by the mayor. And then, eventually, he was just like, hey, why don't you join the Magic Knights, you know? And he joined the Black Bulls, and honestly, that makes sense. It's like, now he lives up to Seihi and Captain Yami, so that's all really good. It's a great backstory for him, so yeah, that is pretty much it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Black Clover reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.